Can we all stand for the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? This will be done by Ms. Karen Brong Hackett from the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services.
Forged from the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Please remain standing as we invoke the presence of the divine, and we welcome student of the Beach Secondary School, Neola Wardrobe.
Good morning. Father, as we come before you this morning, God, in the name of Jesus, Lord God, as we will be holding this program, God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, celebrating, oh God, International Women's Day. God, I ask, oh God, in the name of Jesus, that everything will go according to your will, oh God, everything that will go smoothly, oh God, in the name of Jesus, that has been scheduled. I pray, oh God, in the name of Jesus, as we leave, oh God, in the name of Jesus, later on, I pray, oh God, that we will leave in one unity and peace and love, God, in the name of Jesus. Amen. And on behalf of B Secondary School staff and students, we would like to wish every woman here today, presently, Happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
You may kindly have your seats. The Honourable Member of Parliament for the constituency of Mayaro, MP Rushton Paray, First Citizen Chairman of the Mayaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation, Mr. Raymond Cozier, local government practitioners, our guest speaker today, Dr. Indira Sajivan, special invitees, our six, in fact, today I want, first of all, let me say, in celebration of International Women's Day, every single woman will be celebrated. Every single mother, every single sister, every single daughter is special to Trinidad and Tobago and the world. And therefore, we pay tribute to all women today and give yourselves a round of applause. It was humanly impossible for us to give special awards to the 16,850 women in the constituency of Mayaro. But of the 16,000, we have chosen 6 today. And we have done so based on the committee's careful analysis, and we have looked at the performance, the struggle, the interaction, creation, and everything else that was incorporated in these women to make Mayaro a better place. Notwithstanding the fact that every other woman have made a significant contribution. And we thank you for that. Today, as we pay tribute to Ms. Taramati Bridgemohan, and I want to ask Mr. Taramati, the school educator, to please stand and give her a round of applause. Special education teacher, specialist, Ms. Kellyanne Landon Pascal. An entrepreneur in her own way for the development of our farmers and the cocoa industry, Ms. Sabita Maiku. The Carnival Queen, not once but twice, and I'm certain would be a third time. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Roxanne Omalo. A name that is synonymous with all of us in this region, that probably is responsible for our health, our well-being. We listen, we see, we drive through SNS Prasad Supermarket, and we have with us Ms. Leela Prasad, commonly known as Savi. Today we'll also pay tribute to a young, dynamic woman of the region, who have journeyed across the globe against the odds of everything else that in sometimes considered to be a male-dominant environment, male-dominated world. The young pilot, Ms. Safia Hussein, and today her mother is here to receive her award. Before I introduce the master ceremony of today, we have two things that ought to be done. First of all, we would have the BPTT briefing, security briefing, and that should have done earlier, but we wanted to get you all started in the program because we were running a bit late. No fault of mine. But I also, at this point in time, would like to pay tribute to some other persons in the audience. And we have with us these lovely students, our upper 6, lower 6 students of the Mayaro Secondary School. Can you all stand? Beach Secondary School. Rio Claro East Secondary School. Guaya Secondary School. And we also have with us students of the private sector school in Rio Claro. And they're here. Yes, all right. My Miss Boyd, please stand. Great. I want to also pay tribute today and recognize Miss Florence Gangaram Beckles. Miss Beckles has been a pioneer in the agricultural sector at the Ministry of Agriculture Farm and has been doing such a wonderful job with all our farmers. Miss Beckles. Did I say Mayaro Secondary? Yes? All right, good. So I know that you all are here. MP wants to make sure that Mayaro is in the house. All right? To our friends from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Defense Force, Fire Services, all our military officers. Let them stand and let us all give them a round of applause for the enormous amount of work that they continue to do to serve the population and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I've left out anyone. If I have done so during the course of the program, send me a WhatsApp. How many teachers we have here? Many teachers. The teachers are responsible for bringing our young people into the world of the real world. And let's give our teachers a round of applause. All our public servants. And there are two persons in the audience I must close off on. One is Mrs. Paray Senior, and two is Mrs. Paray, the wife of Mr. Paray. Mother and daughter-in-law. Let me ask them to stand. So, I will not have an easy time for the next 24 months that we have at the office before we go into our next term if I did not recognize all our dynamic staff members, our ladies from the Office of the Member of Parliament. So, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, let me invite our friends from BPTT. And as I say, BPTT is Miss Prince around. Where's Miss Prince? Somewhere. All right? So she'll come in here. BPTT, to please come and yeah, we're ready for you. All geared, lights off, action.
Welcome to the BPTT Mayaro Resource Center. I want you to know that your safety is our priority. The procedures presented in this video are to ensure the safety of all personnel, visitors, and employees who occupy our facility. Emergencies and disasters are typically unpredictable. It is important that you pay keen attention so you could respond appropriately in the event of an emergency.
Safety is one of our core values, and our goals are simply stated: no accidents, no harm to people, and no damage to the environment. All persons visiting the BPTT Mayaro Resource Center must check in with the security personnel at the entrance. You are required to log your name and vehicle number in the register located at the security booth, after which a visitor's pass would be issued and you would be directed to reception or scheduled activity. Kindly return the visitor's pass to security upon your departure. Fire emergency. If you smell something burning, see smoke or flames, please activate the fire alarm by pulling the nearest station. Once the fire warning system is activated, an alarm would sound and the strobe lights will flash throughout the building. Fire extinguishers are in strategic locations around the facility. You are advised to respond with their use only if it is safe to do so. Our emergency exits are clearly marked. Proceed quickly but calmly to the emergency exit nearest to you. If on the upper floor, women should remove high-heeled shoes if they are hindering movement. Ensure that one hand remains free to hold on to the handrail when using the stairs. If you are in the main building, K-Park building, swimming pool or court area, calmly proceed to muster point A, located in the car park directly opposite the security booth. If you are in the cafeteria, back porch, pavilion or playing field, proceed to muster point B, which is adjacent to the pavilion. Our fire wardens on site will assist in the evacuation procedure. Please follow their instructions and cooperate fully. Return to the building only when it is safe and you've been advised to do so by the on-site commander or security personnel. Earthquakes. In the event of an earthquake, remain calm and stay indoors. Keep away from glass and windows. Crouch down and take cover under sturdy furniture such as a desk or table so you may be protected from falling debris. If you are in a stairwell, remain there. Remain in place until the shaking has stopped. After the earthquake, you should await further instructions from emergency personnel. Medical emergencies. In the event of illness or medical emergency, immediately report such to our supervisor or first responders. Environment. The buildings have been designated as no smoking facilities. Smoking is permitted in the designated outdoor areas only. At the Mayaro Resource Center, we are committed to a clean and healthy environment. In keeping with this, we seek your patronage in ensuring that your waste is disposed in the bins provided. Your safety is important to us at the Mayaro Resource Center. Our goal is to provide a safe environment for all employees and guests. Your compliance with the guidelines outlined will ensure your safety at this facility. Be a safe and conscientious visitor. Thank you for your cooperation.
So that means for now you can keep on your dancing shoes. A of silence. Take a deep breath. Smile. I want to tell you all that our photographers are around and our television crew is here, so please keep your best smile, your most beautiful smile as the photographers come your way. Let me see everybody smile. So ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin today's program. My job, in fact, my task, my responsibility after my stint here is to introduce to you the master of ceremony for today. A former radio morning host, former television and radio presenter as well, speaking coach, and one who has a desire for encouraging young people to do well, a desire to improve the quality of life of young women, young people. She is a very charming young lady and has a beautiful voice, even better than mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our Master of Ceremony, Miss Luan John.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rama. I appreciate that charming introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How is everyone doing? Awesome. Happy International Women's Day to all the women here. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Looking absolutely beautiful. I'm very excited and delighted to be here today, to be asked to chair this program for you. I had a run through of the program, and it's a beautiful program. You're going to enjoy it. Sit back, relax, look at the person next to you, let them know how beautiful they're looking. You're going to have a great time. As I was preparing to come here, I was thinking about, I'm presently on a 28-day gratitude challenge. And one of the things in the challenge is to write down 10 things you're grateful for each day. And the more I do it, the more grateful I become. And I wanted to share that with you all this morning, because at any point in time, there's more than 10 things that you can be grateful for that's happening in your life. So even if you think, things aren't going as well as I would like them to go, there are at least 10 things right here, right now, that you can be grateful for in your life. And I'm sure that as we go through our proceedings today, I'll be able to discover more than one of them, or probably more than 10 of them for you. All right, gratitude is such I found it to be such a miracle. And I want to share that miracle with you today as we celebrate International Women's Day. All right, so moving on, we have beautiful women lined up to share with us today, and men as well. First of all, I would like to invite the Councillor for the Beach Charmer area to share and bring greetings this morning, Ms. Charlene Mooner. Can we put our hands together for her, please?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. To the Chairman of the Mayaro Regional Corporation, Alderman Raymond Cozier, to the Member of Parliament for Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray, all other members of Council present here today, other distinguished guests, a pleasant good morning to you all. There is a saying that goes, equality is, everybody gets a pair of shoes. Equity means everybody gets shoes that fit. As we join the global community in commemorating International Women's Day 2023, we recognize the theme of embracing equity. Annually, International Women's Day is a time for celebration of women and the reflection upon the monumental strides that women have made within modern times. Some of these would include educational equality, a greater presence in male-dominated fields, increased presence in management, agriculture, science, parliament and governance, in the judiciary, sports, and other fields where women continue to shatter the glass ceilings. And naturally, reflection on how far we've come and the celebration of women who have brought us here is very important. I must commend the Member of Parliament, Mr. Rushton Paray, for recognizing the significance and importance of this day. Well, mind you, he's surrounded by his beautiful wife, and she gave him 3 beautiful daughters, so he understands the importance of women. But equally important is the journey ahead and the work to be done for women as women. There remain gaps to be filled. According to the official International Women's Day organization, embracing equity means facing the truth, and in our society, all people don't really start from a level playing field. So, if we embrace and work together towards equity, it means working towards each individual getting the support and the resources that they need to succeed, which might be different than what someone else would need. This holds true for many women across many different fields, including the political one, which I can now confirm from my own experience. A little over 3 years ago, when I entered the council chambers at the Mayaro Regional Corporation as the first female local government representative for my district of Beach Charuma, I quickly realized that I had to show that my voice mattered around the table, just as much as my experienced male colleagues. I had to fight for the respect of not only my colleagues, but also the administrative arm of the corporation. Now I have served on various committees and have been given the task of chairing the Finance, Planning and Allocation Committee. I can say confidently today, I have gained that respect. Let me tell you though, it took patience, it took resilience, and it took determination. It is said, inequity thrives on sameness and silence. So for me, it is important that I use my platform now to speak up loudly for the people who doesn't have a voice at this table. giving praise to my political leader for being so inclusive and ensuring more young women had the opportunity to have a voice and to be part of the decision-making process. Because of her, I am standing before you today. I am proud of the phenomenal women who continue to represent women and girls within our Mayaro Rio Clara region and beyond. It is of utmost importance that recognition is given to those who continue to embrace equity right here at home by being more inclusive. Against all bias, stereotype, and odds, women continue to motivate, to inspire, to empower, and to mentor women and young girls across the globe. Just to mention a few, businesswomen right here in Mayaro Rio Claro who have made great strides in the corporate sector, and I would like to start off with Mrs. Paray Sr. She started off so well and have given a great foundation to her children. To Ms. Sunita Prasad, to Beatrice Bridgelal, and in politics, my dearest colleague, the youngest councillor in the country at present, Ms. Renelle Kisoon. She's beautiful, she's resilient, she's hardworking, and truly my sister in politics. We also have Ms. Alita Besso, who has presently served 3 terms as the older woman at the Mayaro Rio Clara Regional Corporation. To mention some young women of the region who have been shining so brightly and truly making our region proud, from our chairman's office, Diana Prasad, Chrisette Benjamin, Andisa West, Rihanna Kisoon, and I can't forget my special district. I would like to say special commendation to Ms. Keisha Kantoma, who is present here today, a teacher at the Beach High School, Sintra Raghuba, Cindy Raghuba Tika Singh, Denise Didier, and so many more. And listed here today, one of the special awardees, Ms. Safia Hussein, who is from Beach. So I would like to say Happy International Women's Day to each of you here. Each of you here has the potential to do so much. The sky is the limit for us, and I see so many young ones in their uniforms today. Please remember, being a woman is your superpower. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Thank you.
The councillor for the Beach Sharma area, Ms. Charlene Muna, and I love that. Being a woman is your superpower. I think I'm gonna run with that one. Bringing greeting next, we have the office of the chairman, Mr. Raymond Cozier. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Member of Parliament from Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray, and his beautiful wife, Ms. Nilisha Paray. Senior Madam Paray, Dr. Indira Sajuwan, who I have known about for so long, but just got the opportunity to meet her for the first time. All awardees for this morning, all teachers, all students, specially invited guests, my personal assistant, Ms. Diana Prasad. Pleasant morning to each and every one of you. It is really a pleasure to be here this morning, and at this celebration, recognizing this special day, Women's International Day. Let me say a happy Women's International Day to all the magnificent women sitting in this audience today, all in our region, all in Trinidad and Tobago, and all around the world by extension. I must commend the Member of Parliament, Mr. Rushton Paray, for such distinctive and thoughtful program to honor the excellence of women. When we celebrate International Women's Day, we celebrate each woman and their contributions to our society, our economy, our culture, our politics, our families, and the ongoing fight for gender equality. Gone are the days where women were seen as solely housekeepers and nurturers. We have seen the evolution of women evolving over the last decade and more so, a paradigm shift as women are now taking the forefront, shattering glass ceilings, breaking barriers, and challenging men in all job markets. Men were born to lead and women to follow, but men fell asleep on the job. Woman who was created with that caring nature could not sit idly by and wait until men awoke. So women at this time are taking the lead in so many areas in the world today. Give women an awesome round of applause. The fact that we are celebrating and awarding these 6 distinguished women in our region today speaks to the fact that we have women who have challenged the societal norms, breaking walls that hindered progression and created opportunities by paving the way forward for the next wave of leaders. Today, we salute the outstanding achievements of women in our region and across the world. However, it is imperative to note that while we celebrate the achievement of some today, the reality is that there are still a huge gender digital divide that prevents women from fully reaping the benefits of the digital transition. Therefore, as the theme says, digital, innovation and technology, and as we celebrate today, it is also an opportunity for us to reflect on the progress made towards gender equality, as well as highlight the work that is still needed in this new era. It is evident that we are together, we are into the technological world where more investment in education and skills training for women and girls, which will play a fundamental role to enhance women's position in all fields. The need for inclusive, transformative technology and digital education is crucial for a sustainable future. And I am certain that this initiative to pave the way forward, it must start at the grassroots levels, ensuring that no one is left behind. Women, as we celebrate today, I encourage you to continue striving and creating waves as it is now time for you to take that rightful position as you have fought towards gender equality in the world of digitization. I congratulate you on a job well done thus far. I join in recognizing and celebrating the sacrifices you made and the important role you play in society. I do thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much. That Office of the Chairman, Mr. Raymond Cozier. Thank you once again. At this time, I'd like to invite a very special person on, the person that's responsible for putting this event together. We are so thankful for his thoughtfulness, not just for today's event, but if we look through the trajectory of his work in the community and in the constituency, we can see that this is just in keeping with who he is. This morning, I want to welcome the man responsible for today's proceedings, Member of Parliament, Mr. Rushton Paray, to bring greetings.
Very pleasant good morning, everyone. First of all, let me recognize our feature speaker for today. I know it's always difficult when you're a feature speaker and you come last on the order. It's very difficult, but I'm sure Dr. Sajuan is very well experienced, both in her field and in her engagement, being a former parliamentarian herself. So I thank you for accepting my invitation to come and share some of your experience with our young ladies and not so young ladies in the audience today. Chairman of the Mayaro Regional Corporation, Mr. Raymond Cozier, Councillor Mona, Councillor Renel Kisoon, other members of council, our specially invited guests, our awardees here today, thank you very much for accepting my invitation as well to accept these plaques that we have for you today. And the mere fact that, there is a lot of you who do not like spotlight, who do not like to be out in the public domain, and for accepting to come here today and be broadcast throughout the world, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but throughout the world today, and for the general audience in Trinidad and Tobago to get a bit to feel, to see you, to know you. Thank you for accepting that as well. I also want to thank the most important people in the audience here today. The 20-odd school young ladies from Form 4, from Form 5s, from Form 6, Upper 6, from our secondary schools in the region. I want to thank the principals for allowing the teachers and the students to join us here today, because I think it's very important that they are here today to witness what we're doing and to hear some of these stories, because it's a challenging world outside there, and it's important for you to see that challenge is part of life, and you would hear a bit of the stories of the 6 amazing women that we have to speak about today. And I hope when you leave here today, we plant a few seeds in your head as you go back into your classroom and you speak with the other young ladies in your class. Tell them the story that you would have walked away from here today. So for the teachers and the principals, thank you again. We do have a lot of professional women here today. I can't remember everyone. I know we have Ms. Beckles, we have some police officers from the Trinidad and Tobago TTPS, fire services, and we specifically asked for the women in the audience because I want my young ladies from the secondary schools to see the accomplishments of our women in the constituency. And perhaps if time permits, I know we started a bit late, but if time permits and you can engage one of these officers who are in uniform, I would really like to encourage you to do so. And there's one outstanding woman, I know she might be vexed with me when I called you and asked you to stand up. I have this new public officer who has recently come to the Galeota region, and I would like to introduce you to our Galeota base commander. Now notice the word that I said there, commander. And if you know what the power of the office of a commander, this is, it's amazing to have this woman down here with us here in Mayaro. I'd like to introduce, if you can stand for us, Miss Lieutenant Commander Juliana Straker, who's in charge of the Coast Guard base here in Mayaro. So I know we are not in the era of Sesame Street anymore, but I remember as a child growing up, there was a little skit about women and what women can be, and they can be astronauts and lawyers and doctors and bus drivers and so on. We have really come far, but we have lots of work to do. And before I get into the meat of my contribution, which I'll try to do very, very quickly, it would be remiss of me if not to acknowledge my wife and my mother who's here, who are businesswomen in their very own rights. And there is probably, and I'm a bit biased here, I don't know if there's any other more powerful businesswoman in the Mayaro constituency than my mother, who has been here for 30, 40 years and have built a business empire in her own right. But unfortunately, I can't acknowledge her at a celebration like this for conflict of interest. But my mother, no, I celebrate her every day. Every single morning, I go to her, I hug her, I kiss her, we say our little prayers, and I think that's the greatest celebration any child can do for their mother at the end of the day. And then my wife holds my hand daily as we conduct our own business as well. So today, as we come together to celebrate International Women's Day 2023, we are really celebrating the achievements of all our women and girls throughout the world. Now, over a century later, from when this has started in 1909, I think was the first women's rights movement. A century later, we continue to commemorate this day because we have made some progress. We have made some progress. Women and girls have made progress all over the world. And what the celebration today, it really does, it serves to remind us of the resilience of our women throughout history. And the call for action, in terms of gender equality, and as Charlene said, equity, that is much more important. It's a day that we will celebrate the achievements of women in all areas of life, including politics, business, academia, the arts, some science as well. It's also an opportunity to shine a light on the challenges that still exist, including gender-based violence, which is predominant in our society today, issues of unequal pay, limited access to education and healthcare, especially in rural communities like Mayaro. But International Women's Day is just not important to girls and women. It is very significant to the rest of our society as well. When we empower women and girls, we create a more just and equitable world for everyone. Now, studies have shown that investing in women's education, healthcare, economic opportunities, it leads to better outcomes for families, communities, and countries by extension. Gender equality is just not a moral imperative. It is also a strategic imperative for achieving sustainable development. This is why the empowerment of women and girls in rural communities like Mayaro and Rio Claro is so important. Rural women and girls all over the world face unique challenges, including limited access to education and healthcare, as I mentioned before, discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, and socio-economic status as well. But when we invest in education, healthcare, the economic opportunities that we'll create, it creates a ripple effect that not only benefits the individual woman or girl, but their families, their communities. The empowerment of women and girls in rural communities is also critical for achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which we have signed on to in Trinidad and Tobago. Goal number 5 of the SDG is focused on achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. So policy direction at a state level. Every policy that we create, it must speak to an SDG. And while there are some policies in place speaking to SDG 5, I do not know if we are doing it fast enough, quick enough, it's reaching the objectives that it is supposed to reach. But gender equality is just not a standalone goal. It is also critical to achieving all the other goals. When we invest in women and girls, we create more resilient, sustainable, and equitable societies. Looking to the future, we must continue to work towards greater gender equality and equity, which is the clarion call by the United Nations today. We must address the structural barriers that prevent women and girls from fully participating in all areas of life, including politics, business, and education, as mentioned before. But we must also challenge the cultural norms and beliefs that perpetuate gender-based discrimination and violence. In recent years, there have been significant advances in terms of women's rights and representation. For example, many countries have implemented laws and policies to promote equal pay, prevent discrimination, and increase access to education and health care for women and girls. And we've done a bit of that in Trinidad in terms of our Equal Opportunities Commission and so on. However, there is still a long way to go to achieve true equality and equity for women and girls, especially those in marginalized communities, and we do have a lot of those throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Gender-based violence, limited access to economic opportunities and systematic barriers continue to hold many women and girls back. In keeping with the theme of International Women's Day 2023, exploring the impact of the digital gender gap on widening economic and social inequalities, let me speak briefly and quickly on that particular area. The digitization of society has the potential to promote greater equality for women and girls in several ways. Increase access to education. Digital technologies can provide women and girls with access to educational resources and opportunities that were previously unavailable to them. This can help to close the gender gap in education and empower women to pursue careers in fields that were traditionally dominated by men. Economic opportunities. Digital technologies can also create new economic opportunities for women and girls, particularly in the growing field of information technology, digital transformation. This can help to address gender inequality in the workplace and promote economic empowerment for women. Access to healthcare. Digital health technologies can improve access to healthcare for women and girls, particularly those in rural and remote areas. This can help reduce maternal mortality rates, increase access to family planning services, and improve overall health outcomes. Combating gender-based violence. Digital technologies can be used to combat gender-based violence by providing women and girls with access to resources and support networks. Coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic and our utilization of video conferencing capabilities, capacities, the reach has been able to grow much more. And I trust that we don't walk back away from the advantages that we picked up after COVID-19 and we go back into a system where we're going to lump people and systems all together, but we have digital systems that we can reach into your home at the end of the day. I trust that we will continue as a nation, as a people, as a government to push digital transformation into our communities. Women and girls, particularly those in low-income countries, often have limited access to technologies of the internet. Right now in Trinidad and Tobago, we have 825,000 Facebook accounts. We have 2.9 million cellular phones. It's almost two phones to one person. So the tools are outside there. There's about 65% penetration in terms of high-speed internet access into communities. We need to do a little better with that and our Wi-Fi capacity going forward. So the more we roll out the technology and more access our women and girls have to the technology, we can benefit in some of those areas. So today we celebrate the incredible contributions of the women that we have here, the 6 that we've identified. And I am very delighted to be part of this special occasion where we'll honor these women in the Mayaro constituency. All of them, born and grew up right here, face challenges. And thank them for their outstanding achievements and their unwavering commitment to improving not only their own lives, but the lives of their family, their communities, and the people around them. All of these women serve as role models for future generations. And, it's going to remind us of the power of hard work, perseverance, and compassion. As we honor these women, we also acknowledge that we are still a long way to go from achieving true gender equality. Women continue to face barriers and challenges in various areas. But it is essential that we continue to work towards creating a world where women have the same opportunities and rights as men. Let us continue to celebrate and uplift the achievements of women everywhere and work towards creating a world where all women are empowered to reach their full potential. Congratulations again to the distinguished women of the Mayaro constituency, and thank you for your outstanding contributions to your communities and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you will have a wonderful time today as we bring these ladies on. They have a bit of their stories to tell in some video recordings. I hope you take their message, take it home, especially our young audience here today, and put it on your strategical imperative as you navigate towards the work of world when you are no longer under the protection of the secondary school system. So thank you everyone for accepting my invitation to come here on such short notice. I know some of you all got it yesterday. So thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to a wonderful program today. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, I think we can do a little better than that for a Member of Parliament. Thank you so much. 2.9 million cell phones in Trinidad and Tobago. Let that sink in. Wow. I think we live in a time where we should really be, and to continue on my topic of gratitude, really be grateful for the amount of work that's being done to promote women and to bring us to a place where we are now seen. I'm sure many of the women here who are a bit older than us can speak of a time when they didn't have the opportunities that us women have today. And I'm glad that the younger women, the school children, are here so that they can see and a seed can be planted. And I say that because I remember being in high school, and I remember someone coming into our school. It was Mr. Daly Knock, as a matter of fact, and speaking to us and just sharing with us. And a seed was planted in me for a love for media, radio, and television. And I went on and I followed that path. So too today, to our young girls here, amazing women are going to be coming on stage sharing the amazing things that they have been able to do. And I want you to listen and let a seed be planted and know also that you can do that and more. I'm really excited to present and to bring on stage our featured speaker. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So Dr. Indira Sejwan is a specialist consultant in competitiveness and sustainable development with a PhD in international competitiveness from the UE Institute of International Relations. She specializes in private sector export competitiveness, global value chains, and economic clustering, and is an adjunct lecturer in international trade and economic growth at UE. She holds a MSc and a BA in economics from UE and several international specialized training diplomas. She is the current president of the Trinidad and Tobago Economics Association and the former executive director of the Caribbean Center for Competitiveness at the UE. Dr. Sejwan worked as principal consultant of applied learning and solutions and served on the boards of major state-owned companies in the oil and gas sector. She was also an elected member of parliament and a well-respected expert facilitator and presenter at workshops and conferences. Dr. Sejwan has been a voice for economic diversification through export expansion for over 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Welcome our featured speaker of today, Dr. Indira Sejwan.
A very pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. Let me start by thanking the Honorable MP Paray for this invitation, and I will extend that thank you to Neil, who has been trying to get me to come to Mayaro for quite some time. So I am very happy to be here. Chairman Cozier, Councillor Mona, those of you beautiful women who through your accomplishments will achieve an award of recognition. All of the other women, professionals, school students who are in the audience, I am very honored and humbled to have the opportunity to speak to you this morning. But let me start on a lighter note. MC, that voice of yours. Wow. When I heard you just kind of introducing me, I was like, oh my God. That voice is made for media. I sounded so nice. Thank you. So, hats off to you. I tend to be a little controversial. So, I'm going to really start there. This day makes me a little angry. Not what you expect to hear, right? It makes me angry because women have been the bedrock and the movers and the shakers of countries, of regions of the world. From the Stone Age, we have been. Unfortunately, it is societal norms and practices defined by and developed by men, unfortunately, who, as the chairman said, are in their own crisis today. And in fact, we need to actually turn around now and help them and fight for their equality. But that's a different story. We'll talk about it another time. It is to those societal norms, it is institutions, the very institutions and the very governance systems that are now talking to us as if they are doing us this huge favor, that are the ones that have institutionalized the inequality and the inequity. I expect you to clap for that, because you know what? That is the truth. Because you see, I stand today on the shoulders of amazing women, of strong women, of powerful women, none of whom have been treated fairly, equitably, or who have gotten the recognition that they deserve. As I am sure many of you around us, around me, have in fact done and are now doing to the younger ladies who are still in school. It is mommy who gets up every morning and makes sure you have food, who washes your clothing, who makes sure you do the homework when the day is. And I'm not saying that there are not men who do that, because there are men who are better mothers than even some mothers. That is a fact, but that's a minority. So in my view, all of the institutions that are now telling us about, in 2023, it's about digit all for the sake of women, because, they quote all kinds of stats about how we don't have equal access to computers and technology and all kinds of things. But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? In societies where young women are treated as property, in some societies where if you have a girl child, you break her hand and you send her out to beg because she's a liability. It's not because she's a woman, it is because the society has developed those norms that have defined that. And it is so easy in my view. It requires a stroke of a pen, really, to determine that in Trinidad and Tobago, women should not be earning on average 20% lower than men. A stroke of a pen, and then the capacity to implement it. That's simple. That's not hard. Why are we making a big deal out of it? Why in 2023 it is still not happening? It is not happening because those institutions have decided, you know what? Let them work for it. Let them struggle hard for it. What is this thing about equality and equity? It is our right as much as it is the right of men, and we should not have to fight for it. There was a time, though, when as economists, we talk about specialization. There was a time very long ago where society was structured on the basis of specialization. Women specialized in looking after the house and the family, etc. And the men specialized in going out and earning an income. Who decided what they do better and of more value than what we do? Men did. Because men control the institutions that define that. But things have changed, and specialization has also changed. And therefore now as women, we are not just staying home and looking after the children, but we are doing so much more. And as the chairman said, men kind of have lost their way along the way, and we have now had to step up. But I want to say to you, Chairman, that women have led. They have led but they have led from behind. So it's not this thing about walking two-step and following. We've never followed. We have always led. We just led you from behind. Because, and I will tell you my own story. It's always, I guess it's best your one's own story. I'm the last child of a father who was a taxi driver and a mother who was a homemaker. And I stand here today, all those things that she read that I've accomplished. So grateful. And she talk about gratefulness, Madam Chair. Every day I am grateful, and I try to bring my children up to every evening. We find 3 things that we're grateful for. Now, girl, I'm a real good cook, and my mother could cook real good. So every evening, the first thing they're grateful for is the food. The amazing food. Oh, and then there's be grateful for life. Now, I can't quarrel with that because we should be grateful for life. We should not just take life for granted. But as I was saying, back on topic, I stand on the shoulders of women. My great-great-grandmother came on the boat as a child, never spoke a word of English, but carried a tray with things that she grew and things that she bought and walked the village selling it. My memory of her was squatting down on her feet, really, because her bottom never touched the ground, and she sat like that, and she would say, "Panya Willa," which means, "Can I have some water?" Those were the only words I remember from her. But she worked, and you know what? She saved her money, and she bought property. She owned a piece of land. She understood the value of owning the place. When you sang the national anthem this morning, the paws and my hands raised, and maybe for the first time in a long time, I listened to those words, and I almost was brought to tears. And I was brought to tears because we, man, woman, and child in this country, from politician to laborer, disrespects that national anthem. And unless we can find the strength to start to respect it and make those words real, we're in a lot of trouble. But I've gone off topic again. And as I was saying, my great-grandmother never spoke a word of English. My grandmother, who was her daughter-in-law, was left by my grandfather because he was a sweet man. So he was out sowing his seeds all about, and he left her with 2 young daughters. Well, he came and, sowed his seed, and he went his way. And she was left to bring up 2 women. Cotton cane. My memory as a child of my maternal grandmother is leaving, I was still asleep. But I knew 3-4 o'clock in the morning she would have left and gone to the sugar fields to cut cane, and was home before the sun rose in order to prepare food. I remember her bent over the sill, grinding the seasoning in order to cook food. I remember her very quiet, unassuming. She was the first woman in St. Helena to build a concrete house. She had it outdoor, but with the kind of toilet and bathroom that we know today. No latrine. That's what I stand on. My mother, who is here today, my mother was a housewife, but she managed the house. My father earned the money, but she was the financial manager of that money. I remember him coming and just opening empty his pocket, and then she took charge. My father, when I started university, got a stroke, and he couldn't work no more. I had just started university, and my mother, who used to sew all our clothing from the time we were small, we never bought made clothing, but she only did it for us, and well, of course, my aunts, etc. But people used to be amazed at the quality of our clothing. When my father got sick, my mother stepped up. She stepped up and she began to sew for persons in order to earn income so that I could finish my university. My mother. My mother had to leave school in primary school, and she tells us the story that she was really bright, and they thought that she, at the time, I can't remember the exam, but they wanted her to write the exam so she could go on to become a teacher. And my great-grandmother said, no, if I send you to school, you're going to go crazy. She didn't know better. But she didn't need that to have done even what she did. So unfortunately, my mother was taken out of school from primary school. She didn't have the benefit of the education system that is available to each and every one of us today, whether you're male or whether you're female. But my mother stepped up. But that's not what is important about what I learned from my mother, you know. I learned perfection from my mother. I learned from my mother. It's never enough until it is at the highest quality that you can make it. I remember seeing her sewing, and if the stitch on that dress is, I looking to me real straight, but when my mother looked at it, oh, she have a problem with it, and she would rip that and do it over and over and over until she got it right. The education system today is not teaching our young people to do that. They are teaching them that quick fixes are the order of the day. And I know digital is important. We live in a society where it is important, but there are so many values that is forcing us to miss. So Sabita, I'm so happy to see Sabita in the audience. I'm a real fan of this woman who I see working so hard, harder than any man in her farm to make her business happen. She's my role model. She is who I celebrate today on International Women's Day. And I have learned from her that farming is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the faint-hearted. And I have started my own home gardening project, as she knows, and catching my tail, me and my mom, because it's real hard. Things keep dying all the time. But you know what I have learned, and therefore I have learned from the farmers of this country, that if we were to bring our politicians and make them farm a little bit, we would have men and women there who would really and seriously transform this society. Because challenge after challenge, they stand strong, they find solutions in quick time, and they make things. They grow food. And we need to grow this society. We need to grow this society so we can create jobs for our people. And I know I didn't check my time, and I'm probably out of time. Madam Chair, I'm probably out of time. I have that habit. I used to be a politician. So you give a politician a mic, and you know what happened. But yeah, I am grateful and I am humble for all that I am. I come from a small village, and I have to tell you that no statistic that is quoted to me on where we are as a woman has held me back. None. Because, and I want to say this to the young people, that those who stood before me have held me up. The women who have come before me, they have held me up, they have held me strong. And it is my responsibility to do that for the next generation of women. And if we all do that, we will break every stat that is provided to us. And I want to say, unfortunately, sometimes us women get to positions of power where we can make a difference and we don't make a difference. And that needs to change. So I'm saying to you, be the change, make the difference. Whenever you have an opportunity to create an opportunity for a sister, do so. It's because if we leave it to the institutional arrangements, it will be 2035 and we will still be quoting these terrible statistics. We will still be talking about struggling for equal treatment when it really should be for recognition and respect for what we do. So I want to leave you with that. I want to leave you with a message to stand up, stand strong, speak out. Because if you do not do that, then those who stand above us and want to define our role in society will continue to do so unabated. So speak out, speak your truth, be the change, be the change, be the change. If you hear nothing from what I have said here this morning, I say to you, just as the counselor said, our greatest strength, and I might be paraphrasing you, our greatest strength is that we are women. What we bring to the table is unimaginable. When you look at COVID-19 and you look at the countries that manage COVID-19 the best, they are the countries that have been led by women. Go and Google it and find them for yourselves. So, my sisters, my brothers in this struggle, I say to you, let us together be the change. Thank you.
Yeah, that deserves a standing ovation. Come on. Dr. Indira Sajuan, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Wow. That was a lot of food there to take in. Vibrant, juicy, entertaining, very moving as well. I thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I think one of my takeaways out of that, among the many things that one could take away from that message, was really that as women, we're definitely not walking an isolated journey. We need each other. We need the ones that have gone before us, and we need the ones that will come ahead of us. So we're never isolated in our journey as women and as people. Wonderful. We're coming to a very important part of the program. I think what we've all come here for, the time for the presentation of the awards. I'm really, really excited about this part of the program because it gives us an opportunity to really see what these amazing women who live in our community have done and continue to do. It's so inspiring and so encouraging. I've been reading the mini bios and I've just been so fascinated and so inspired by the information contained on these pages, and I know that you will too. So let's get straight into it. Our first award this morning, I didn't check the time, it might be early afternoon, but our first award goes to Ms. Tarmati Bridgemohansing. Ms. Tarmati Bridgemohansing is also known as Ms. Tara, a devoted school teacher. She devoted almost 4 decades of her life to teaching at Rio Claro Hindu School. She commenced her teaching career there in 1981 and served the institution with distinction until her retirement in 2020. During her lengthy tenure, Ms. Tara rose through the ranks, achieving the positions of head of department and vice principal. She also served as principal primary after the retirement of her predecessor. Throughout her time at the school, Ms. Tara played an active role in all aspects of school life, working tirelessly to positively impact the lives of her students and colleagues. She was a guiding force, a supportive friend, and a trusted mentor to many. As she embarks on the next chapter of her journey, Ms. Tara leaves behind a legacy of dedication and service that will be remembered by the school community for many, many years to come. Let's enjoy the video.
day all. I am Taramati Brijmohan Singh, generally known to most people as Miss Tara, and I reside in Rio Claro. I am a retired educator. I attended the Rio Claro Hindu School, and I also taught at that school for 39.5 years. I am now retired and I am enjoying my retirement a great deal. I attended the Rio Claro Hindu School from 1965 to 1972. When I wrote Common Entrance, I was one of 2 pupils who won a scholarship to attend St. Stephen's College in Princestown. This was the first year our school had gotten scholarships. At St. Stephen's College, when I wrote GCE O-levels in 1977, I obtained 3 passes and was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to repeat Form 5. In 1978, I obtained a full certificate of 5 passes to move on to do A-levels at the same institution. I pursued languages, Spanish and French. Sí, puedo hablar español. When I wrote A-levels in 1980, I was successful in Spanish. After A-levels, my job hunt began. My childhood dream had always been to be a teacher. So naturally, I applied to the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha Board of Education. I gained employment with them in 1981, and on March 16, 1981, I began a career that lasted 39.5 years, all at the same institution. In September 1981, I began a 2-year training program for my teacher's diploma at Current Teachers College. Upon successful completion of this course, I returned to Rio Claro Hindu, where I moved through the ranks of Teacher 1 to Head of Department to Vice Principal and Acting Principal, the post I held when I retired in 2020. Life for me growing up was no easy walk in the park. I had many challenges, but I did not let them hinder my vision. I came from a poor home, and I'm proud to say that. My father worked on an estate for $3 a day. We reared cows, so after school, I had to help tote grass for them, and on weekends, had to walk through the village to deliver fresh cow's milk. Going to school barefooted when rain fell, sheltering with a teak leaf or your mother's plastic tablecloth, getting 25 cents to spend for the week, eating chicken only on a Sunday, getting a patch-up dress for Christmas, are just some of the challenges I faced growing up. When I started secondary school, I got up early and my sister and I would prepare our lunch to take to school. All this with no electricity and no running water. We only got electricity after I wrote O-levels. At that time, the bus fare to Princestown was 30 cents and the taxi fare was 50 cents. But my father could not afford that extra 20 cents. So if I missed the bus, I would return home. As my siblings grew into adulthood, life became a bit easier as they started working and a little more income was coming into the household to help out. When I was doing A-levels, many a Friday I would have to stay home from school to accompany my father to the Marabella market to sell produce from our garden. I clearly remember when the Form 6 French class was arranging a visit to Martinique. When most pupils could have easily made the trip paid for by their parents, retired principal of St. Stephen's College, Alison Sargent, at that time she was Alison Noel, and I were given permission by the school to make and sell ice cream to raise funds for our trip. Even when I got my job, life was not easy, but it was better for now. For now, there was more income to assist, and we undertook renovations of the home to provide a more comfortable life for our parents who had sacrificed so much for us. I am telling you these things not to seek pity, but to raise awareness of the hardships some people go through in life. The will to succeed and the belief in the Supreme Being are key factors to being successful. There are many people who still undergo these challenges, and I want to urge you not to lose hope and give up. Persevere, and you will succeed. From my life experiences, what I can expect of you young women out there. During my career, I was involved in many community and religious activities, from organizing youth groups, activities, sports days, fundraisers, Diwali programs, Christmas treat for underprivileged children. At school, I was also involved in all aspects of the school activities apart from classroom teaching. Although I taught at all levels, most of my years was spent as an SEA teacher, a challenge which I wholeheartedly took on and thoroughly enjoyed. My pupils have gone on to excel in various professions, and this fills my heart with immense joy knowing that I have had a positive impact on hundreds of individuals. One thing that gives me a great sense of satisfaction is helping those in need whenever I can. And as I say, I give not because I have, but because I know what it is like not to have. As we observe International Women's Day today, I want to urge all females, young girls, young women, and even the mature women to set your goals, keep focused, and work towards achieving it. If you believe you can, you will. Do not sell yourself short. Maintain your dignity. Respect yourself. Don't forget that we are strong, talented, intelligent, and simply wonderful. Use your failures as stepping stones to becoming the best version of you. Remember to love yourself first at all times. When you have a dream, you've got to grab it and never let go. Nothing is impossible. Strive for excellence in whatever you do. Love what you do, and everything will work out. I wish all of you all the best. I thank you. Hello, my name is Anthem Pascal, Principal and Founder of Rio Claro Learning and Development Center for Special Children. The school was founded 30 years ago in a bid to create a space whereby children and young adults with disabilities can be educated and their skills can be developed. Over the years, we have had children with varying disabilities. We have children with cerebral palsy, we have children with Down syndrome, with autism. We have children who are also have different developmental delays. Our students would come from various areas. So we have children who come from Maruga, we have children who come from Princeton, Guayabari, Tabakit, Mayaro, and within the spheres of Rio Claro. So what do we do? Well, what we help to develop their speech if necessary. We help to develop their different areas of cognitive skills, and as well as their daily living skills, right? So I am currently the holder of a Bachelor's of Education degree in Special Education, and I'm currently pursuing my Master's in Business Administration. I also hold a certificate in quality management, and I am an ordained minister of the gospel. Over the years, the school has been, different areas of the school has been challenging, but we managed to keep the doors of the school open, and to be able to provide this much needed service to children with disabilities. It is important for me to say that, as a young woman, one of the difficulties that I would have faced whilst going through all of these years was really the distance to go for training. Many times I would have to go far out of Rio Claro for my training, and what would have been a difficult thing would really be the commute, and coming back into Rio Claro, especially classes finishing at night, coming back into Rio Claro, the commute from Princeton to Rio Claro was definitely a challenge in those days, especially in the night. And I imagine even now it still is a challenge for some young women, and that is something that that we have to look at carefully. That the commute sometimes can be quite dangerous, for women who are pursuing to develop themselves as people, as persons who can contribute to society on a wider basis. So what I want to say to young women is to strive for excellence. That is my word to you. Strive for excellence. Despite whatever it is, you know what your goal is, you focus on your goal, and you set your eyes on it, and you work towards it. Even if there come hurdles in front of you, mountains in front of you, you do not look at it as a setback, but you look at it as a stepping stone, right? Whatever it is comes to you, you look at it as a stepping stone. If it's a mountain, well, then you find a way around it, you find a way over it, or you find a way under it, but you do not allow that mountain to set you back. You use that mountain as an opportunity to move yourself forward, to bring yourself up, and don't let anything distract you from your goal, from your mind. Your mindset is really, really important. And even though some challenges may come up, once your mind is set on that you are going to reach your goal, well then your determination is going to get you there, right? So this is my advice to young women, who are preparing themselves to make a difference in the society, who are preparing themselves to be educated more, who are preparing themselves to be wives and mothers and all of that. Try your best and to strive for excellence in every single thing that you do. Do not allow any difficulty, any challenge that comes up, do not allow it to be a deterrent, but look at it as a stepping stone into your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We continue with our awards at this time. This time, our next awardee is Ms. Sabita Maiku. Sabita Maiku is a woman who has faced multiple challenges throughout her life, such as leaving school at the age of 12 and experiencing medical issues, including a car accident that left her with permanent injuries. Despite these obstacles, Sabita pursued her passions, which included photography, hairdressing, and aesthetics. She provided affordable services to those in need and also became a cocoa fermenter and processor. She now runs her own company, Sabita's Cocoa Delights, which offers various value-added products and educational tours. Sabita has received recognition for her achievement and contributions to the community and partners with charities that help both animals and people. Her life mantra, have faith in God, and the grace of God will take you through this lifetime.
Hi, I am Sabita Maiku. I am the owner of Sabita's Cocoa Delights. Welcome. Today I will take you on a short journey of the exciting world of cocoa and its value-add products. Tough challenges, but one of the major challenges is with these cocoa beans. In 2014, after the downfall of the cocoa industry in Trinidad, farmers were stuck with their beans. We had nowhere to sell our beans, myself included. Now, my place is a place where farmers would group together and we would assist each other. Most of the times I would do bookwork and paperwork for farmers. So we were stuck with our beans. We had nowhere to sell our beans. So after seeking advice, I went to our Ministry of Agriculture county office in Ecclesville, and there they informed us about what is happening in the industry and how we as farmers could help to revitalize the cocoa industry and to sell our beans. So 4 long years of educating myself and other farmers. Whatever I do, it wasn't always me. I always took along a few persons with me, and we accomplished, how shall I say it? Or we became certified, yes, as good, with good agriculture practices. And today we are not so much challenged anymore, but we continue to sell our beans. Thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture for assisting us with that, and we move on to value-add products, because that is the only way we could really get value from our beans. Well, one of my greatest accomplishments is this dry house. Having received an agri-incentive grant from the government, I was able to build my processing facility. So here in this area, I have my ferment room. So in there we have our cedar boxes in which our cocoa beans are fermented. After the beans are fermented, we take them here into the dry house so they could be aired and then put out to sunlight. Here I have some already dried, sun-dried beans. (100% sun-dried cocoa beans). I also partner together with the Cocoa Research Center at the University of the West Indies. I love fermentation, the science of fermentation. I like to see how bacteria work. So I partnered with the Cocoa Research Center, and I participate in their fermentation experiments with microbial process to produce 100% quality cocoa beans. I also receive awards and certificates for these things. So having those certificates, it just shows me that I am like a little cocoa scientist. First of all, I would say to any woman or any female is that you are unique. God made you in His own image, and you are worthy, you are valued. Never allow anyone to tell you that you are not, because you are. And never give up. Always continue. Believe in your dream. It may not happen in your young years, it may happen in your older years, as it has happened to me. And as my mother would always say, these two hands that God give you, always use them to do good. And this is what I am trying to do. I am trying to revive an almost dying cocoa industry in my area, you know, and I must say that I am succeeding in what I am doing. And another thing my mother would always say, if you are going to do something, make sure you do it properly, or don't even attempt to do it. So have faith in God, and the grace of God will take you through your lifetime.
Sabita Maiku, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite her on stage at this time to receive her award. Thank you very much. We continue. We have 3 more persons on our list. Our next person that we will be honoring today is Miss Sophia Hussein, and collecting on her behalf will be Miss Cinti Hussein. Sophia was born and raised in the peaceful village of Biche. She was captivated by the sight of helicopters soaring over her home as a child. Driven by her passion for aviation, she resolved to one day take the controls herself. At just 17 years old, Sophia earned her student's pilot license before her driver's license. She began her aviation journey by piloting airplanes, earning her Canadian commercial pilot's license at an impressive age of only 19. Not content to rest on her laurels, Sophia sought a greater challenge and obtained her Federal Aviation Administration commercial helicopters pilot license. At just 26 years old, she made history as the youngest captain in Trinidad and Tobago. Since then, Sophia has lived and worked in diverse locations such as the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and North America. Her proudest achievement to date is becoming the first and only female pilot to fly for a Middle Eastern royal family. In her spare time, Sophia enjoys indulging in hobbies of reading, writing, and trekking volcanoes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Safia Hussein and I'm a helicopter captain. I'm from a part of Trinidad that people sometimes describe as behind God's back, but I am proud to say that I was born and raised in Biche. While growing up in Trinidad, helicopters would fly over my house and I was fascinated. I decided at a young age that I wanted to be at the controls. No one in my family was a pilot and I had never even seen a female pilot before. Not on TV, not in the newspaper, and certainly not in real life. I had no role model to follow, so I had to create my own path. I had more people doubt me than believe in me, but I have never allowed the negative opinions of people to change the course of my life. My mother always used to say, "You don't have to do what everybody else is doing." And I took those words to heart. The world of aviation is slowly evolving, but discrimination and sexism are still deeply rooted. Being a brown woman in this industry has caused me to cry myself to sleep at night, but the next morning, I would wake up, get dressed in my uniform, go to work, and excel at my job. I didn't quit because I believed in myself. This inner strength has never failed me. It doesn't mean that I don't fail, because I have failed. But when I do, I pick myself up, dust myself off, and try again. To achieve your goals, you have to learn from your mistakes, accept criticism, but don't allow critics to determine the path your life should take. I have been told I should not do a certain job because of my Trini accent. I have been told that the company should not hire people like me anymore, when at the time I was the only pilot of color and the only woman. I fought for myself, and this is something you will find yourself doing when you are passionate. So I stood up to the bullies, and they backed down. When I was 26 years old, I became the youngest captain in Trinidad and Tobago, but not everyone was happy for me. I applied to 3 different aviation companies overseas, but only one responded. The other 2 did not hire women, but there was a whole world out there that I wanted to explore, so I packed my life into one suitcase and traveled to the Middle East, a region I had never been to and had barely even researched. I was given one opportunity and I grabbed it. My career has seen me fly and travel to over 60 countries. The crowning glory of my accomplishment was being chosen to fly the royal family and being the first and only woman to do that. Had I listened to the people who did not have my best interests at heart, I would have never spread my wings. Always take on board what the people you love and the people who love and care for you have to say, but don't allow their opinions to deprive you of your ambitions. My early career as a pilot can be compared to when I climbed the highest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro. The summit sits at 19,340 feet, and I had never climbed a mountain like that before, nor had I ever slept in a tent. Just like when I decided to become a pilot, I had never flown in a helicopter, but I knew I wanted to do it. Before I even landed in Tanzania, I told myself I was getting to the top, even if I had to crawl to the top. And you know what? I didn't have to crawl, and I reached the summit, battling severe altitude sickness, and I was tired. But I did it by putting one foot in front of the other every single day. I never turned back, and this is exactly what I did with my career. Every day was a new day to actively pursue my ambitions. When I was a child, some people would call me Blackie or Darkie, and it took me decades to overcome how that made me feel. In pursuing your dreams, sometimes people will make you feel exactly like how I felt being called those names. I felt like I was undeserving, like I was less than other people. I was made to feel like I should not break boundaries because of the color of my skin and my gender. But I did it anyway, because I believed I could. In closing, I just want to say thank you to the Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Rushton Paray, who has consistently stood by his constituents and today is celebrating the achievements of women. One woman's win is a win for all of us, and we should commend and support each other. The world can be a daunting place, but you young ladies have the ability to pave the way for the ones that will follow you, the ones that will look up to you. Believe that you can win, and no one will be able to stop you. Thank you for the honor to speak to you today and for this award. I hope to see you all soon. You can follow my journey on Instagram at Pilots and Passports. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
One woman's win is a win for all women. I love that. Sophia Hussein, let's welcome her mom, Miss Cindy Hussein, to collect the award on her behalf. Congratulations once again. Moving right along, Roxanne Omalo. Roxanne Omalo is a determined woman with a clear mission in life. As a former international athlete representing Trinidad and Tobago, she's not one to back down from a challenge. Growing up in St. Anne's, Mayaro, Roxanne attended the Mayaro Government Primary School, Rio Claro Junior Secondary School, Princess Downs Senior Comprehensive Secondary School, and UCB. In addition to her athletic achievements, Roxanne also holds the title of National Two-Time Carnival Queen Champion of Trinidad and Tobago for the years 2018 and 2020. However, her accomplishments do not stop there. Roxanne is also the first person to develop and manufacture the Caribbean's first ever pumpkin butter, which is now sold locally, regionally, and internationally. As a mother, a wife, and business owner, Roxanne wears many hats, but above all, she is a woman who inspires others with her drive and determination to achieve her goals. Roxanne Omalo.
Hi, my name is Roxanne Omalo, and a lot of you here may know my name, and some may not have known my face, but here am I today, Roxanne Omalo from the community of Mayaro. I am a mom, a wife, a business person, and most importantly, a community member. Let me tell you about Roxanne Omalo, the Carnival Queen of Trinidad and Tobago 2018 and 2020. So you, it may sound wow, but the journey wasn't just being victorious. I mean, starting this journey in 2011 with my designer Leo Lacan, who was my past neighbor. I mean, he saw something in me that I think a lot of designers, if they had the opportunity, they would have grabbed me. My height, my face, and honestly, the passion that I had for culture. Now, I didn't know anything about carnival when it comes to dancing, the costumes and all this stuff. So my first performance in 2011, I came fourth in the semis. And we came away that year, 2011, out of 50 queens, fourth place. And to us was a victory. In 2018, I got that nod because that night I went out and I said, you know what, this is my time. I am going to do that stage, but I always wanted to take charge, and I took charge that night in 2018. I was crowned Carnival Queen, first ever Carnival Queen out of Mayaro. You know, and I always stress on Mayaro because I'm a Mayaro girl. And then again, 2019, I thought I had it in the bag because we worked hard, tired, costume broke, and at the end of the day, I came out second. And going back 2020 with a revenge, because I mean, I was so upset because I knew I had it in the bag 2019. And I went that night of the finals in 2020. My costume broke in the back of the stage because the rain was falling so hard. We were literally crying. While my number was calling and we were going to the front of the stage, my designer and my team were just chucking flags where we were supposed to be tying things. And I said, it's either me, you, and that stage there, or I'm going to bring it home. And again, the results was in my favor. I was crowned Carnival Queen 2020. So I've told you about Roxanne Omalo, the Carnival Queen / culture person. But let me tell you about Roxanne Omalo, the business person. Yes, I'm also a business entrepreneur, a business owner. So my journey within the business arena started when I was about 23 years old. Yes, I got into business. I was about 23 years old. And seeing my mother and father into agriculture, but they were planting. My daddy in Mayaro was known as the pumpkin guy or the planting guy. So I decided when they bring home their stuff, I was always experimenting and stuff like that with different agriculture products as well as seafood. So I started an actual product in 2015. You know, I was the first person to actually do a vegan link in Trinidad. You know, it was under the brand Trini Winnie. But I said, you know what, I would not stop there. So there were nights I would cry because I thought I had a good product. But I knew what I wanted to do, and with hard work, with dedication and stuff like that, I didn't stop. And in 2018, I again started experimenting with my father's love, which is pumpkin. So I started experimenting it in 2018, 2019. And I said, you know what? Everyone loves butter. Why can't I do something like that? You know, when I went to my sister, and I told them about it, they were like, how are you going to do that? And I sat down nights when people were sleeping 2, 3 in the morning. I was digging up and researching, finding out different ways how I could work with it because pumpkin has a lot of water. You know, there were nights that I said, Lord, why me? Because I knew I had something, but I didn't actually know what I was going to do. And 2019, November the 16th, I could never forget that. I got up around 12:30 the night with this vision, and I started to write down a recipe. And I went in my kitchen, and the only thing I didn't have was the actual full cream, but I used milk instead. And I whipped everything together, and the taste I got was so creamy, and I was like, Lord, did I do this? Did you send me this? I started crying. And I didn't even have time to sleep. I was so fascinated and blown away with what I created in the kitchen. And I say, Lord Father, is this really happening? Then I started to knock at doors when it comes to going to the different ministries and stuff to find out the approval process in which I should go about it. I mean, I created the first ever pumpkin butter in the Caribbean. Now I'm just telling you, not just in Trinidad, but in the Caribbean, there's nothing like us. And when we did our research, there's nothing like it in the world. Because what the US and them consider as butter, we consider as jam here. So I created a unique and niche product right in the community of Mayaro. So my advice to you young ladies out there, always believe in yourself. There would be times that you may find that you may be wondering why you, because things may not be going your way. But always believe in yourself and push towards your dream and your goal. The negative persons or remarks or people that are around you, you try to eliminate, I always say, because they are not for you. Always believe that when you want to succeed, that you need to know the direction in which you want to go, and positive is always your number one. Focus on yourself, be mindful that respect, honesty, integrity has a big part to play in your journey as well too. Listen to your parents. That's something I always tell the young ladies and people in general. Listen to your parents, and most importantly, remember that man above, which is Jesus Christ, because I always believe that without him nothing could go right. Put him forefront, make sure that he's number one, because when everyone leaves you and everyone say no, he's the man that knows yourself and know what you're about and would always say yes. That's how I always go about life, believing in him, believing in myself, and pushing towards my dream. And I ask you to do that as a young person here today. With that said, I would want to thank the MP, Mr. Paray, and the entire team for giving me the opportunity to be an awardee today, and for this great opportunity to let the young women know that we are as important as everyone else in the world, and with honesty, hard work, transparency, that things would always go in your favor once you have a proper path in front of you and you set that goal. With that said, I say thank you and have a blessed day.
Marla, we'd like to invite you on stage at this time to receive your award. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations once again. So we're down to our final awardee this afternoon, Leela Prasad. Leela Prasad leads SNS Prasad Supermarket, a retail enterprise comprising of 3 branches. With over 30 years of experience, Leela's business acumen, her foresight, her leadership skills, they've been instrumental in transforming a traditional retail store into a diversified business, setting her apart in the highly competitive retail industry beyond food and beverage. In addition to her success at SNS Prasad Supermarket, Leela has also established 2 other thriving businesses, Sunset Beach Resort, which we all know, and Cuts and Curves Fitness Center. She has also spearheaded the launch of Project Hope. It's a children's foundation that has made a positive impact in the communities of Rio Claro and Mayaro. Drawing on her extensive experience, Leela has successfully expanded her business to new locations in Trinidad, building strong teams and laying the groundwork for future growth. Her ability to bridge the past and present and leverage her past accomplishments has been a key factor in her success. Let's enjoy the video.
My name is Lila Prasad, but everyone knows me as Savvy. I am a wife, mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, friend, business owner, and entrepreneur. Putting a title on our roles is always challenging, but I know that I give my all in every position I occupy. I serve each of these titles with passion, humility, and love. I will refer to my first answer in explaining this. God has blessed me with a wonderful family, a husband, children, and grandchildren who continue to inspire me to achieve. Over 35 years ago, my husband and I supported each other in starting our first business. We both knew we wanted a better life for our children. Through each stage of growing a business, from a delivery van to now 3, soon to be 4 outlets, we always retained sight of our desire for a better life with our children. My biggest accomplishment is my family unit. Because of this bond, everything else is possible. My eldest daughter took my position, which I admire and bless her in taking this great initiative. She has made me and my family so proud, not forgetting the community at large. She has never hesitated in assisting with activities which empowered the community. As business owners, we have had many successes but few missteps, but we never give up. See each setback as a learning lesson. Never give up. Building something or working towards something is never an easy road. There will be challenges and setbacks, but build from them and learn from them. I also advise women to build a support system, whether through family or friends. You can't do it alone. Also, your faith and connection to a higher belief gives you the grounding you need to withstand all the hiccups in life. I advise young women never forget to take a moment to say a prayer and ask for protection and guidance.
Wonderful. We're completed the awards section. Mr. Paray, as soon as you're done there, I'd like to invite you on stage once again. And I would also like to invite our feature speaker, Dr. Indira Sajawan, back on stage as we honor her for her valuable contribution here today. Please put your hands together for her. Congratulations once again. So this brings me to the end of my role here today as your MC, as your hostess. I had a wonderful time being on stage and just being a part of everything that has happened here today. As I leave the stage, I want to encourage you to join me on my gratitude challenge. If you want to do 5 days, 10 days, or 28 days, I'm on day 20 today. The exercise today is actually to say thank you 100 times, so pray for me. But I do want to encourage you as I leave to practice gratitude. Gratitude is actually the recipe for more. The more you complain, the more things you'll have to complain about. The more grateful you are, well then, the more grateful you will be in life, and there will be more things to be grateful for. So thank you for being a wonderful audience. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Luan John a round of applause. As we bring the curtains down on today's program, what I will do is say thank you. It's important that we give thanks. And first of all, let's give thanks to Almighty God for blessing all of us with long life and life to be here today. Thank you, Lord. Let's say it. Let's say it together. And that sounds like the students in the class who just, few of them prayed this morning and the others broke class. Can we say it together, everybody?
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. I want to say special thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Indira Sajiwan, who was amazing today. Dr. Sajiwan have inspired every single woman in this audience and those who are viewing us on this various social media network. Thank you, Dr. Sajiwan. We must also say a special thanks to the pioneer, the driver, the visionary, MP Rushton Paray, for organizing such a wonderful event. And I'll tell you something, on Friday afternoon, so it's Friday, just a couple of days ago, MP met me at the office. It was after 4. He said, I'm coming up to see you. I said, all right, I will wait. And he said, what we are doing for International Women's Day? I said, you decide. And within 5 minutes, in 5 days, we have put together this event. Every single recipient that we have called, even Miss Kellyanne, who had some problems in getting up the stairs, took off her shoes and started dancing. The very distinguished chairman of the Mayaro Regional Corporation, we want to thank you for your presence here today and for your message to all of us. Thank you, Mr. Raymond Cozier. I often get in trouble for saying it, but my favorite councillor, Charlene Muna. Very inspiring and wonderful message. All our recipients, you're well deserving. You have gone through the struggle. You have gone through everything that deserves an award. And today, we give thanks to you and say, may Almighty God continue to bless you with long life, that you will continue to inspire others. Thank you all very much for accepting. Our military officers, those, our friends from the Coast Guard, our friends from the fire services, and not forgetting the lovely voice that we had at the national anthem. Thank you. And our very hardworking and dedicated police officers. And I know when I say good things, I'll be spared the tickets. Our students, did you all enjoy yourselves? Say yes, sir. Very well done. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for spending the day with us. We have meals for you. And of course, we will, I'll say this now, is because we will prepare for the kids and allow them to have their meals so that they can depart to their schools or to their homes. It's already prepared for them, so we will allow them, just as we close here, to proceed first for it. So thank you all very much. All other members of staff, or the teaching staff, all members of the media, our song engineer, our videographer, who is sitting way off. Sometimes we miss him, but Mr. Archie Williams. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Our hard-working and dedicated staff of the office of the Member of Parliament, and I want to ask them to stand. And if you, for any reason that you all felt a slight illness or weakness or anything, the nurses were in the house. We thank them. So, with these few words, I want to thank all of you for coming. Thank you for participating. Continue to interact with your friends. Have a chat with Dr. Sajiwan. And please be guided. The photo booth will be open, and all of you must have your photos before you leave. Take your selfies as well. Make sure I'm in the background. All right? So, with these few words, thank you. May God bless you and have a wonderful, happy International Women's Day to all of you. God bless. So first of all, let me invite the students to go to my extreme right, and teachers can please assist them. Let me invite our 6 recipients and Dr. Sajiwan to please join us on stage. We'll also invite Ms. Nelisha Paray, Chairman, on the head table. So please, after the MP, we'll just... Can we ask Daniel to ask the engineer to send back up, or to take back up the, they have a way of doing it. All right? Yeah. No, you don't have to walk. You could walk with the plaques if you wish. With and without it. After we can take some in front with it if it's too. But you all want to walk with it, no problem. It's not that heavy. Siobhan, help mommy. Okay, good. Yeah. So we take one with the plaques and then we take it without the plaques, right?